Hi everyone and welcome to Midco Sports Network's North Dakota Hockey Frozen Four special in Tampa, Florida. I'm Greg Ankers. UND returns to college hockey's biggest stage for the third consecutive year, 8th time in the last 12 seasons and 22nd time overall. There's been headliners all season long on this year's UND team. The CBS line, the combination of work between the pipes of Cam Johnson and Matt Harinkyu have all led UND here, but there's also some unsung hero groups, and that's where we begin our program tonight. A line comprised of a freshman, sophomore, and junior. That being Luke Johnson's line, centering Rhett Gardner and Austin Paganski, have combined to be a trio that has been a force to be reckoned with for opponents. They've also made an impact offensively as well.
North Dakota will try and match what they call their heavy line. Rhett Gardner, Luke Johnson, and Austin Paganski up against the Michigan top line. Scrambling
the way all three of us play, I think we kind of take pride in being hard to play against, and obviously we can bring some offense too.
I think it's just kind of our job, our role in the team to shut down that line, and we take pride in that, and it's kind of what we go for now, so it's a lot of fun.
Well, three of them, they just play so big and strong, whether it's the offensive zone or the defensive zone. They've been able to shut down the top line of the other teams, but at the same time, when they get the puck in the offensive zone, they're tough to knock off the puck, and they create a lot of opportunities for themselves.
I think we first came together going into the Omaha series, and we're kind of struggling to shut down top lines, and I think the coach just wanted a bit of a heavier line to throw against some teams, and they just kind of threw us together as an experiment, and we had a really good weekend that weekend. We've just kind of been rolling ever since.
Ever since they got put together, they've been working well together. They've made tremendous strides, and they're a great shutdown line as well as they can score goals too.
In front it comes to Paganski on the marble. Gardner scores!
The first little bit, we were kind of just building our chemistry together, and then once we found that chemistry, now we kind of look forward to playing other teams' top lines and shutting them down, and lately producing a little offense against them too.
Just kind of our work ethic. I think we all have the same mindset of getting pucks deep and getting pucks to the net, and I think just having all the same mindset of all of us just kind of helps us build a little chemistry. And just sometimes we get a big hit or a big block. I mean, all guys do it, but I mean, we like to do that a lot, so it kind of gives a little momentum to the guys.
Put down by Paganski.
They play a lot of good D-zone shifts, but I think their most productive shifts are when they're cycling the puck and making the other team's top line play in their own zone. Most other teams don't have a top line that wants to play defense, and they do a pretty good job at keeping them in their own zone and playing heavy on them and making them wear down and feel tired and stuff like that. So they do a great job in our defensive zone, but they also go out and they play a high offensive game as well.
I think it starts in the defensive zone. Obviously, playing against their top guys, we want to take away their time and space and be hard on them. And then obviously just playing in the offensive zone too. I mean, creating chances down low, like I said, and using our big bodies to protect the puck and keep it down there as long as we can.
Gardner now off his skate, trying to track it down, gets around Varney for Paganski, and
You have a lot of confidence in those guys when they're on the ice. They all have the ability to score goals, as they've proven over this year and through the past years. And it's just huge to have trust in a line like that, where you can put them out against the other team's top forwards or top players, and they can shut them down. It's just a huge thing for our team as a whole.
The heavy line, as they've been dubbed, will be tasked with defending the Pacific Rim line for Denver tonight. We'll detail that matchup a little bit more later on. Senior forward Colton Sanderson has been a spark during the second half of the season for North Dakota. After spending 3.5 years just trying to crack into the lineup, Sanderson had a milestone moment back on January 16th against Omaha that's kept him in playing position ever since. Marty Mueller details his story now. Here's a closer look at the senior from Saskatchewan.
comes back out to Roslovic, and that's poked away again by Trevor Olson. And Olson and Sanderson. Sanderson breakaway. Allen has bid for his first career goal. Is stopped by McKay.
Waiting for the first one to come was kind of annoying and got a little bit stressful, and just wondering if it was ever going to come, and then just feeling of relief when it finally went in, and felt like more like a house came off my back, and was able to just relax out there.
Shula is in the North Dakota training room. Backhander, Sanderson! Oh, he's waited a long time for that. Colton Sanderson's first career goal. They'll grab the puck.
This year he's been given opportunity and he's absolutely taken it and ran with it. And he does all the right things. He plays the game hard. He plays it smart, and he's been a huge boost for us. I think he's second in our team in goals in the second half. And anytime a guy like that is scoring goals for you, it's a huge momentum boost.
Just try and play a hard two-way game and try and take advantage of the opportunities I do get. And just luckily lately they have been going in. And maybe if anything, just after the first one came, it was less thinking about it and more just taking advantage of opportunities and still trying to get a lot of shots on net while focusing on being responsible defensively.
He's an easy person to handle. He's a lot of fun to be around, and he's a great guy on and off the ice. So it's a guy like that, you just can't help but cheer for him.
Sanderson's success in the second half is one of just many storylines on this year's North Dakota hockey team. When we come back, we'll take a look at the entire body of work that North Dakota has done to get to the Frozen Four. That's next as you watch the North Dakota Hockey Frozen Four special on Midco Sports Network.
The 2016 Frozen Four Special on Midco Sports Network is presented by the University of North Dakota, American Tire Service and American Tire South, Sioux Shop at Ralph Engelstad Arena, Networking Specialists, and Walls Health Mart Pharmacies.
Welcome back to Tampa. From NCAA record shutout streaks to Drake Kajula's dazzling work and Austin Paganski's overtime penalty shot victory, fans were treated to quite a show at Ralph Engelstad Arena this past season. Yet, as you may recall, it wasn't supposed to be this way. UND is led by a first-year head coach, and they began the year with 10 freshmen, one of the largest first-year classes in team history. Yet here they are, poised to make a run at an 8th national championship. Here's a look back at UND's path to Tampa. UND opened the season with a win and tie at the Icebreaker tournament in Portland, Maine. But questions about this team grew deeper just 3 games in when Cam Johnson left with an injury. Enter Matt Harinkyu, a former walk-on with 0 in-game experience at the collegiate level. Harinkyu, though, guided North Dakota to a 9-2-1 record over the next 12 games.
Big save there, and another big save by Harinkyu.
Helping along the way offensively throughout the first half was a trio of players that became known simply as the CBS line. From mid-November to mid-December, the 3 of them combined for 49 points in a 10-game stretch. Cam Johnson returned to the net just after Thanksgiving and made his presence felt by making a run at the NCAA record books. Johnson tied a school record with 4 straight shutouts and ended with 298 minutes and 25 seconds of shutout hockey. That puts him in second place all-time within the NCAA.
Shooting, Johnson makes the save.
After closing the first half 16-2-2, the new year began with a bang too. On January 2nd against Alabama Huntsville, Drake Kajula, the human highlight reel, was back up to his old tricks once again.
Here's Kajula now, short-handed. Drake Kajula.
After 3.5 years and struggling to get into the lineup for his entire career, senior forward Colton Sanderson finally got the monkey off his back with his first career goal.
It's nice. We got such a great group of guys, and they're obviously excited for me, which is nice. And I don't know, it's just kind of more of a feeling of relief. If not anything, I've had a lot of chances this year, and even other years past, and it just hasn't quite gone in. So just more of a feeling of relief than anything, and couldn't help but smile a little bit and try to just keep my head down and let the guys pat me on the head and move on with the rest of the game.
January began 7-1-1 for UND, but a series at Denver in mid-February became a reality check for the entire team. It marked the first time UND had been swept on the road since 2011.
I think that this weekend we kind of just showed up here thinking, you know what, we kicked their butts last time. It should be a cakewalk this time. And you know, funny how the stories change. It's they just kicked our butt, and you know, got to taste our own medicine. And obviously we're gonna go back to Grand Forks and kind of reevaluate the way we're thinking right now.
UND closed the regular season on a 6-game winning streak, which carried over to the first round of the NCHC tournament, The winning waves came to a screeching halt, though, for a third straight year at the NCHC Frozen Faceoff in Minneapolis. But after securing the number 3 overall seed in the field of 16, UND made everyone quickly forget the Frozen Faceoff as the squad showcased its best work on their way to the Frozen Four. As UND makes its run for an 8th national championship, so too are the Denver Pioneers. They just happen to be tonight's opponent. When we return on our North Dakota Hockey Frozen Four special, we dig a little deeper into the Pioneers.
The 2016 Frozen Four Special on Midco Sports Network is presented by the University of North Dakota, American Tire Service and American Tire South, Sioux Shop at Ralph Engelstad Arena, Networking Specialists, and Walls Health Mart Pharmacies.
Welcome back to our North Dakota Hockey Frozen Four special here in Tampa, Florida. Denver has taken a very familiar path to get to this stage, like many North Dakota teams of the past. It wasn't uncommon under Dave Hackstall's tenure that North Dakota start off the season slow, but finish very strong. Denver has mimicked that this season, going 7-7-2 during the first half of the year, but closing the second half with just 2 losses, generating the second highest winning percentage in all the NCAA. Denver, like North Dakota, is led by a top line that is both dynamic and explosive. Danton Heinen, Dylan Gambrell, and Trevor Moore have combined for 38% of Denver's point production this season. They'll be met once again by the heavy line tonight as those guys look to shut down Denver's potent top line.
On the forecheck, Levin scores! Gabe Levin!
University of Denver hockey senior Gabe Levin loves hockey. He always has and he always will. But with his graduation date quickly approaching, he's starting to do what most other DU seniors are doing, and that's looking to the future.
I'm trying to keep my options open.
Gabe knew he wanted to apply for law school, and with the deadline for applications looming, he needed to take the law school admissions test quickly. But the last test date of the year fell on the same day as Denver's series against the Fighting Hawks in Grand Forks, North Dakota.
I've been planning on taking the exam for a while now, but it never even really crossed my mind not to play. So I was just thinking that it was going to be like a pretty tough weekend, and I was hoping it wouldn't affect me too much for the games or for the exam.
But DU head coach Jim Montgomery had a different proposition for the senior forward.
I think part of our job when we were at the University of Denver is to help them become better people, better students, and have great success on the ice and off the ice. And letting him spend a whole day and evening preparing the night before his LSAT, we thought would give him the best chance of success for the test so that he can have success in life post-graduation.
Initially, Gabe wasn't thrilled with the idea of sitting out, but after taking some time to think it over, he took coach up on the offer.
I just realized that he was right, that it would help me with the exam, and I think it would also help the team. I think it was a really good idea coming from him that I'd be able to sort of put someone else an opportunity where they can succeed in the game, and it would also put me in an opportunity to better succeed in the test.
Gabe made an unplanned stop to the Friday night game, and that's when he learned he was ending the longest streak of consecutive games played in the NCHC at 129 games.
I actually had no idea. I mean, I knew that I hadn't missed a game in a while, but I didn't know it was like 120-something games until I think the DU account tweeted about it. But so I saw that on my phone, that they had tweeted that, and I just got even more bummed out. I was like, oh, man, that's pretty cool that I hadn't missed a game that long, so it kind of made it feel even worse. But I still think it was a good decision.
And a good decision it was. With the opportunity given to him by the Denver coaching staff to focus on his exam, Gabe scored in the 99th percentile on the LSAT.
And I spent a lot of time studying for this, and a lot of time putting myself in a position where this is something that I can achieve. So I really didn't want to look back in a couple weeks or whenever and just think, was it worth it, or did I leave something on the table? I think that I did everything in a way that I could say, I did all I could.
Since the exam, Levin has received a postgraduate scholarship from the NCHC, and he's been accepted to Harvard Law School. We've got plenty more to come on the program. Coming up next, we sit down and chat with head coach Brad Berry and get his final thoughts as his team readies for a battle that's just moments away.
The 2016 Frozen Four Special on Midco Sports Network is presented by the University of North Dakota, American Tire Service and American Tire South, Sue Shop at Ralph Ingolstadt Arena, Networking Specialists, and Walls Health Mart Pharmacies.
Welcome back to our North Dakota Hockey Frozen Four special. We're very pleased to have the head coach of the UND men's hockey team, Brad Berry, join us for a couple minutes. Coach, the work is in. The next step for you is game time. How do you feel about your team from a mental aspect as they get ready to go out there?
Very good. You know, our guys are hungry, they're focused, they're committed. They want to get to the game. You know, I know it was kind of a long week leading up to this, but they know what's at the end of the road. And again, we've been here before. We want to have success here this year.
This is a program and a team certainly that revolves around its leaders. Talk a little bit about the leadership that this team has and the role that they play in getting you here.
Well, first of all, our leadership is the big reason why we are here this year. I mean, we've had a little bit of adversity through injuries and different things throughout the year, and they've done a great job of keeping us even keel and not too high, not too low. And they all bring a little bit something to the table. Obviously, Gage Auspis and his 5 assistants have done a tremendous job of not only handling adversity, but also leading the young 11 freshmen into being men here. And again, that's a big deal.
Your team's had an ability to get off to a good start and set the tone, something that's been key. It certainly was at the Midwest Regional. Assuming that that's something you want to see transpire here against Denver tonight, what are the first 5 to 10 minutes that you need to see out of your team?
I think big thing is puck possession, making sure that we take care of the puck when we have it and just make plays. You know, this is a time of the year where you don't reinvent the wheel. You know, you accentuate the things that you do that got you here. And again, we have to be mindful of the team we're playing. They're a very good team, but we got to make sure that we are playing our game and accentuate what we do.
How has the past experiences that either you've had or some of the leaders that we've already talked about on this team, how has that translated into preparing this team for what's about to take place tonight?
Well, yeah, it tremendously. You know, first of all, like we've been here a couple times before. You know, that junior group or the senior group, they've handled a couple of Frozen Fours and it wasn't the outcome we wanted. You know, they have a pain in their stomach and they got a hunger here of trying to rectify that. And what a great opportunity to be in Tampa. And again, we have to make sure that we play the right way tonight. Absolutely.
Well, we appreciate your time, Coach. Best of luck against Denver tonight.
Thanks, Greg.
Stay with us here on the North Dakota Hockey Frozen Four special. We're back with some game analysis as North Dakota gets ready to take on Denver. That's coming up next.
The 2016 Frozen Four special on Midco Sports Network is presented by the University of North Dakota, American Tire Service and American Tire South, Sue Shop at Ralph Ingolstadt Arena, Networking Specialists, and Walls Health Mart Pharmacies.
Welcome back. It's almost game time, but it is our time to get some analysis for North Dakota and Denver, and for that we bring in college hockey beat writer from the Grand Forks Herald, Brad Schlossman. Brad, as you look at North Dakota and Denver, the series during the season has been 2-2-1. This is the ultimate rubber match.
Yeah, I think everyone's been waiting to see another match between these two teams. You know, I think in the Grand Forks series, North Dakota did a real good job, you know, dominating a Denver team that wasn't quite at the level that they were at the second time they met. Denver raised their level. Now North Dakota needs to match that tonight.
Does either team have any advantage, being that the two programs are so familiar with each other? They mirror each other in so many different ways, but can anybody glean an advantage?
You know, I don't think there's an advantage from familiarity. I do think if there's any advantage, it's that North Dakota has the last change. In this series, when North Dakota had last change, they won their 2 home games. When Denver had it, they won there too. Well, is that the sole reason? I don't know, but I think that is a slight edge to North Dakota. They can get the matchups they want.
Denver's offense and power play have exploded in the second half as they've only lost 2 times since January. What does that mean for North Dakota defensively?
Well, first of all, you don't want to take a lot of penalties. I think that's been the way this whole tournament, though. You look at what Northeastern and Michigan's power play numbers were, they're through the roof. So A, you want to stay out of the box. B, North Dakota's penalty kill has been terrific in the last 4 months. So I think that they'll be challenged, but they don't want to take a lot of penalties. You know that Heinen, Gambrell, Moore, Will Butcher are guys that are going to be out there firing away if they get an opportunity.
Ultimately, I want to get your thoughts on a prediction for this game tonight. North Dakota-Denver. Does North Dakota make it in for a chance at its 8th national championship?
You know, I think North Dakota is the more talented team of the two. When I break it down aspect by aspect, I think North Dakota has slight advantages in the big top lines, in the depth of the forwards, and in the D. It's not big, so I think it's going to be a real close matchup, but I have to give North Dakota the edge, a slight edge in this game.
That is going to do it for our time on the North Dakota Hockey Frozen Four special. We thank you for joining us, and we hope you'll tune in next Tuesday as the coach, Brad Berry, and I will sit down and recap North Dakota's Frozen Four experience. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the game, everyone.